Good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome to Throwbacks, where we talk all things cool and retro. Today, we are going to be looking at the brand new He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoon collection, She-Ra, Princess of Power Wave, as we're calling it these days, because it's all characters from the She-Ra cartoon. Now, I liked She-Ra a lot back in the day. I thought it was a really good show, and I just thought it fit in very well with the He-Man universe. And it was always weird to me that the good guy, good girl, whatever you want to say, characters were basically dolls that they would put in. Now, some of you may not remember the days, glory days of toy departments, such as where boy toys would be in one aisle, girl toys would be in another. I believe it's the same way today, but it's a little different. But anywho, if you wanted to buy a She-Ra back in the day, well, you had to go to the girls aisle, and that just wasn't happening for a lot of us dudes back then. But they don't really differ all that much these days. Which is fine, because, they were good characters that belonged to the Masters of the Universe universe. And here's a couple of them we're gonna check out. So first, She-Ra. Super, super good looking She-Ra figure right there. I'll tell you what. It's going to really just kill my soul to open these, but these are all characters I want open, and, they're getting a little too expensive these days to have, like one carded and one loose, so I just got to make that decision. Am I going to open this, or am I going to not open this? So it's going to be open today. But first, let's take a look. Cartoon collection. These are the figures that basically look just like they did in the cartoon, which is what most of us want anyway. And this is the 40th anniversary of She-Ra, Princess of Power, fighting for freedom on planet Ethereal. And you'll notice, same He-Man brand. She-Ra, most powerful woman in the universe. He-Man's most powerful man in the universe. And we'll take a good look at it. Just want to look at the package for a second, because it's a beautiful package, and once I open it, it'll go in the recycle and I'll never see it again. So there's a pretty interesting character right there. There's one I don't recall. Maybe she was in the show and everybody's like, "Oh, that's so and so, Uncle BJ, you dumbass. Don't you know who that is?" And I'll be like, "No, I don't remember." Which is the case a lot. And I didn't get Mantenna. Bummer. I totally forgot it. I did get the Ram Man, but we're not going to be looking at him right now. There was a Hordak in this wave, but I'll be honest, I didn't get him because I got a whole bunch of Hordaks already, and I got the Super 7 Hordak, which I will show y'all in a minute. And I think he gets the job done well enough for the cartoon universe. So let's get this young lady free from her card. And first I got to look at her little comic book. And what is this? What is this? She have stickers? Take a look at this. What in the world? Come on, it's paper. Okay. So, yeah. I guess this is telling you what is removable parts? Okay, I don't get it. Whatever. But Horde Invasion, the She-Ra comic book. And, let's take a look at this real quick. I'm not going to read this, but if you want to pause that, there that is. Pretty scary looking Hordak stuff. And here is the next part, if you want to pause that and read it, which I may do at some point. And last page, here it is. So check that out. All right. So for all you learned, educated college goers out there that read this, let me know what you thought of that. But let's look at She-Ra, who is He-Man's sister. Spoiler alert. He was taken from Eternia when she was a wee baby. Baby by Hordak. Oh my god, they do not want you getting this stuff out of here. Golly. So her sword is supposed to be just like He-Man's, except it's got the little jewel in it. And where she raises it up and says, by the honor of grade school, and turns into She-Ra. Which, pretty cool. And her shield, which looks just like her shield. In fact, this may be the same mold as her vintage one. I don't know. Nah, maybe not. It's too big, I think. Let's see. She is the strongest woman in the universe. There we go. And coming out of the package, she is pretty awesome. I mean, joints feel nice. Let's articulate. I love where the articulation like lines up and like where the boot is cut. That's always good. Let's see. Does she stand up good? Sometimes She-Ra figures don't really stand up good because they got the high heels or whatever. But man, she looks great. She is a beauty. Check her out. I think she looks fantastic. She's even got her little cape, which is not soft goods, but she's got her correct cartoon little head thing and costume, and just looks pretty doggone good. All right, stand up for a second. All right, let's give her her sword and her She-Ra shield. She-Ra shield. And there that is. And so She-Ra, pretty freaking awesome. Alright, so let's get the other guys out of there. Take a look. So I always thought Catra was an interesting character because she turns into a cat. so that's a thing. Catra, jealous beauty. Such as she is. And kind of the same stuff on the back. And here is Catra's comic book, Onslaught to Snake Mountain, which I'm sure that's a pretty interesting. And what is this again? And as I pulled her out of the package, I realized why they said removable parts, because you can basically take these figures apart and maybe change some of the parts around, make a custom or what have you. So there is the front, and there is this part. You can read it, pause, read. All right, one more time. Pause, read, and pause and read. And I hope I stopped long enough for you to do that. There is our comic. And here is our kitty cat. It is not articulated, but it is sculpted nicely. Makes a really good little pack-in figure. Kind of weird now I'm thinking about the Evolutions line. Did not have a separate cat for her to turn into, so it was a bummer. Excuse me. Here is Catra. She looks pretty cool. And I realized pulling her out of the package that she has some of the same parts as She-Ra. So it's fine. There's a little horde symbol right there. It's kind of easy to miss. And you can take her little mask and pull it down. And that is what turns her into cat. So that's cool. And I'm glad they made this like a thing where she could do that. So Catra, pretty cool. Dig it. And we have Frosta, Ice Empress of Etheria, which I guess, that was a thing. I remember she was like, kind of like Mr. Freeze or Iceman or something like that. She had, could control the snow and ice or whatever. The picture is seen on Black Snow, which I guess that was, I don't remember a lot of the names of the episodes. I kind of remember, I kind of feel like she had a crush on He-Man or something. It was like making him all blush, but let's check her out. And here is Frosta's comic titled Vengeance, which looks pretty cool. And let's see, I think you can see that if you want to pause it and read it. And next page. And pause and read. And pretty cool. And one more time. Pause and read. And alright. So that's it. That's her comic. And here's the old Frosty gal herself. And she looks really cool. She kind of reminds me of like the Evil Lynn from the MOTU movie. And she comes with these little whirly-durly little ice things, which I thought were snakes at first, but it's like she's just summoning up her ice, chilly, wind, snow power. And last but probably least, Leech, evil master of power suction. Boy, how funny would it be if they mispackaged, put Frosta, for example, in a Leech package. But anyway, don't think too hard about that. I just wanted to show you Leech in his package. Now, this is the first Leech, I believe, that it was 100% screen, well, maybe not 100%, but mostly screen accurate. There was like a deluxe Leech in the Origins line that had, you could switch his head. And so he didn't just have that stupid, like, sucker face, he's got the monster face like he's supposed to have. But, and then there is a picture on the back where he's smacking old Bo in the head, sucking his brains out or whatever he does. And, you can stick him to walls or whatnot. And here is the comic that came with Leech, and I believe it's the same one that came with Catra or whatever, so we're not going to. We are going to take a look at his Pew Pew that I think I recognize this from the show, although it looks a little weird with the little clamp that, it's going to obviously clamp on his hand. And I stuck him to the to the desk, and his feet will stick to stuff, so I guess that's pretty helpful in, doing these reviews if I don't want him to fall over. But I forget to mention how well these things are articulated. It's really nice. And I do like the attention to detail they put on what's basically a, kind of a throwaway character. I don't think he was ever more than a henchman. If Leech ever had a standout episode, let me know, because I don't remember it. But I think the colors they chose are good on him. Let's see if he can hold his gun. Well, kind of. Yeah, that's what you get. Maybe it works better if you take his Leechy McLeech hands off. But then he doesn't come with extra hands, so I don't know what you're supposed to. So, yeah, it doesn't help. I think the deluxe Leech came with like extra, he had like frog hands or something. So he didn't always look like he was just, had suckers for appendages. But good figure. And since my deluxe Leech is carded and packed away, I thought I would pull out the vintage Leech for comparison, which, very similar, but completely upgraded parts. No, same parts or anything. And this is what I was talking about, how he just has like a sucker for a face, and which I always thought that was a little disturbing, to be honest. But you can see in his profile there, like that's what he is supposed to look like. He's a little toothier, I think, in this version. Or is he? I don't know. He's like a mad hippopotamus or something. But scary character, but pretty cool. Nice upgrade, and very cool for those that love cartoon accuracy. So there's Leech. And I don't have the vintage Frosta, but I do have the Masterverse version, and I gotta admit, they're pretty different. I expect, most of the Masterverse versus Origins versus cartoon, whatnot, they're just kind of different scales of the same figure, but they look different. I don't know. Which one do you guys like better? Let me know. And same with Catra. They do look a little different. Her Masterverse version has black hair instead of blue hair. And I don't know, it just looks a little better to me, a little more well thought out, a little better designed. But what are you gonna do? We never had a good Catra. Did they make Catra back in the day? I don't think they even did. They made a lot of figures from Princess of Power, but I definitely didn't have many of them, and I don't remember all of them, but there is both versions I own of Catra. And as far as She-Ra goes, there's been a lot of versions of her. I am most fond of the Masterverse version because I think it's what she's basically supposed to look like, although I think the version I have has a slightly crooked mouth, which is weird. You know, gives her a little personality, I guess. You know, she's like, "Come on, He-Man, we're gonna go stop and Hordak, and I'm gonna get me some biscuits for some mustard after we done." And there is my probably second favorite version, the Super 7 version, which is kind of like if She-Ra had been released back in the day, so she's kind of like a Tila, sort of. She's a little too tan, in my opinion. I think other than that, they nailed it. Super 7's great with cartoon accuracy. And there's the vintage She-Ra, which she's just a little bit of a mess, to be honest with you. Her hair's in kind of, and I do have her sword and head thing and whatever. I just couldn't find it, but there is you get the idea. The original Princess of Power figures were kind of like basically dolls that were in He-Man scale, and a lot of us dudes, we weren't about that. We wanted swords and laser guns, not hairbrushes and capes and accessory. I don't know. I mean, I love the characters, don't get me wrong. It's just the way they presented the figures was a little puzzling. I think they were just trying to get girls into the line because, He-Man and Masters of the Universe did have a lot of, female fans, which is great. But, I think trying to Barbie-atize the figures just probably wasn't the way to go. But there is She-Ra. And there they are all together. I threw Super 7 Hordak in there because I feel like he gets the job done sufficiently. That's what I mean when I said I had enough Hordaks already. But there is Leech, Super 7 Hordak, which is hard to find now. She-Ra, Catra, and Frosta. So what do you guys think? Did you watch She-Ra back in the day? Were you a fan of the Princess of Power, sister to He-Man? You can watch it all on Netflix if you're interested to check it out. It's a pretty good show. If you like the regular He-Man and the Masters of the Universe show, then you will like She-Ra, the Princess of Power, I think. Because I did. I liked it. And I like these figures. I'm glad I got them. Are you finding these? Are you collecting these? Are you just master to the universe out? Are you just done with it altogether? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for checking this video out. On behalf of me and Bad Brad, we are going to go throw one back. And please give us a like, subscribe to the channel. We have new content every day. And until tomorrow, we will see ya.